Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Thought it was time for an updates video, so March update video, I guess this beginning of March. And so some really interesting things we're going to talk about. New things happening all the time, very exciting things as well. There's been quite a left field kind of shift in regards to ascension, which I'll talk about in this video. And a whole lot of other things that I'm finding here at Truly Holistic at the moment, obviously I'm going to share it with you. So first of all, what's been coming up a lot of late is an aspect to remove all facets of duality. Okay, so those facets of duality, there's four, and one is the soul, two is collective consciousness, three is karma, and four is conflict. Okay, so I'll explain those four facets. Okay, and what we essentially do is we find out where those facets of duality are connected to an area. It's essentially, these are like a dead weight for an area to stop these areas ascending and evolving and growing. Okay, so in our connections that are bound and connected to you within all your past lives. Okay, and we call, quite often it comes up as past ascensions instead of past lives. And if it's connected to something here, what happened back in those ascensions or past lives are having an effect on you here. And if those past ascensions failed, we don't want any association with those anymore if we're going to allow this ascension to be successful. Okay, so obviously I think people know what the soul is. The soul is the mechanism used to recycle you. Okay, essentially that's the basis of what it is. A lot of people within the spiritual communities, consciousness community, think that's what we need to reach to. That's our higher aspect of ourselves. It is within this reality, but we need to ascend this reality because this reality was initially created for us to be controlled and manipulated with. So the soul is part of that reality that was created for that purpose. So therefore we really need to let go of it. Okay, it's something old. It's an old system that if we want our sovereignty back, we no longer want to be associated to it. Okay, we want to be associated to the higher aspects of ourselves, our higher perspectives of ourself, which I guess we simplify that and call that the higher selves of us. So those missing pieces of the puzzle that we've always longed for, and to get those answers of why we're here, what's the purpose, who am I really, who's my who am I, what's my true self. Okay, and the source and origin of your energy, and that's beyond this reality. Okay, so that's what we want to levitate to. We don't want to gravitate back to being part of the soul trap and just being recycled. So soul is a facet of this duality. Okay, we want more of a singularity energy, or I guess we could also call that a neutrality as well. Okay, it's a balance. So another facet of duality is the collective consciousness. And again, it's not the aspect of looking at the perspective of let's bring everyone together so we can all be one. It's more the aspect of if each one of us as an individual has a unique perception of reality, how are we supposed to bring it all to have one perception for everyone? That's impossible. Okay, so the whole analogy of being one is not possible. Okay, it's simple as that. Okay, we've got to be realistic about this. It's more the aspect that we see, a collective being drawn or following the dangling carrot scenario of trends and all these things of, media and all these things that are creating distraction and trying to get us to follow towards. Okay, and why they do that is they create a focus. And if they can get our attention and our focus goes towards that attention, our energy naturally gravitates to that focus to create more of it because our energy goes to that. Okay, it's connected or taken away from us, from the mind, not from the heart, from the mind. And our energy is taken to actually, in the end, sabotage us without us, a lot of people not knowing that's happening. Okay, that's why we have this distraction in the world, what the media use. Okay, the media create whatever they like. and they dangle it down, and we always go for it. We get caught hook, line, and sinker every single time. Okay? So I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are subscribing here of this channel understand that your world is right in front of your nose, okay? It's what's happening in the now. The most important thing for me right now is doing this video. I couldn't care less about anything else. This is my world right now. Anything out there that comes through the filter of the media that pick and choose how they want to inform us, or let's say misinform us, that is not my world. For example, coronavirus at the moment. It's not my world. I don't see anybody around me that has coronavirus. So therefore, in my world, it does not exist. And hence, my energy doesn't go into manifesting it and creating it anyway. It's as simple as that. So the collective consciousness is very dangerous. Okay? It's very dangerous. Karma. Again, karma is, again, created in a reality where we do not, where our consciousness is not in our heart space. Okay? Our sacred heart is a connection, which we're going to get to in a minute, is the physical heart, as Frank Chester once put, who was the creator of the Chesterhedron geometry, that the human heart is the geometry of the Chesterhedron, and that the human heart is actually a vortex. It's not a pump, just a pump around blood around the body. It is a vortex. And he demonstrated that, even when the heart had stopped pumping within animals, or that there was still a pulsing sensation through their blood vessels. So, in all analogy, the heart's not going dun dun dun. It's actually vortexing. It's vortexing like that. Okay, so like any of the organs, it's a physical manifestation from the energy phenomena of where that energy comes from. We call that the sacred heart. The sacred heart is a gateway to a connection to your family lineage, but more as your source of energy. Okay, your higher self lineage, the aspects and components of you that are you. And that's the importance of the word self. It's you, right? It's not wishing upon or hoping that a higher being will come and save us. It's you that's going to save you. It's just connecting with that higher wisdom or aspect of you, to reinstate your true power. That's essentially what it's all about. So this gateway is not going out there externally, it's going within. Because for us to evolve consciously, it's to go within. It's not to be distracted by what the media is telling us we need to place our focus on. It's going within, okay? So it's going within that space there, okay? So that's where we get guidance. That's where we get intuition. That light bulb moment from our higher aspects of self. Higher self, source self. Now, if our consciousness is not there, and it's here, and hence this gets in the way and blocks that intuition capability, then the other way that we learn the lesson is through karma, and it's the worst way possible, because we should be doing it through here to start off with. Okay, so once we scrap the idea of a duality, this reality of duality that's limiting us, and we get back in the heart space, there's no need for karma anymore. So we just disconnect karma as well. And then for anything in regards to duality or polarity, like two opposites, there's going to be friction in the middle, which creates conflict. Hence why in this reality we have so much conflict based on duality. Man, woman, one country to the other, one language to the other, one political agenda to another country's political agenda. And it goes on and goes on, okay? So again, we do not need that. The biggest conflict of all is within ourselves, okay? Trying to understand what the world is and what all this stuff that they keep sending us, misinforming us, or telling us what the world is, being conflicted about it because it doesn't make sense. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. It's like watching a movie. and every day I laugh about it. It's a very interesting movie. Okay, so that's facets of duality. We disconnect that, remove that, and instead we bring in that energy from our high aspects of self, our higher perspectives of self, our source self, and that will go into manifesting the physical element of that energy the way it's supposed to be. Okay, that has no limitations. No limitations. Okay, so now what we're gonna I found this really cool explanation of dimensions. I'm gonna share it with you. I think it's spot on. So let's go ahead. Dimensions are not places or locations. They are levels of consciousness. Okay, so when we're talking about levels, we're talking about dimensions, right? Or densities, or timelines, all the same thing. There are levels of consciousness that vibrate at a certain rate. Okay, so we're talking about frequency. Now, each dimension vibrates at a higher rate than the one below. Okay, so it's just like the analogy of getting on a lift, right? I want to go to a higher dimension, we go up the top, right? We go up so many levels. Now, in each higher dimension, there exists a clearer, wider perspective again of reality. So that's why we call the higher self, higher perspective of self, okay? A clearer, wider perspective of reality, so we understand reality in a better way, okay? So media being a game, okay, they're dropping their line down, waiting for us to gobble on like hook, line, and sinker, and we don't let it. A greater level of knowing, wisdom. We experience more freedom, greater power, and more opportunity to create reality because we don't get involved in the game. Okay? Therefore, we have more freedom. Okay? We have a greater power because we can then invest our energy and power in the things that we want to create in our reality and then hence create our reality. Okay? I thought that was very powerful. So when it talks about the next dimension up, we don't only have higher perspectives of self or higher selves, we also have lower selves. Okay? And that's a very interesting phenomenon too, because when we talk about past lives or past ascensions, we use the term past because it labels our mind, sadly enough, to understand because we're so indoctrinated by the programming of time, when all reality, everything's all happening at the same time. And therefore there are connections which we call entanglement, which is a quantum physics term, between these different timelines or different selves, okay, or past lives, okay. Now, so quite often the past lives or the past ascensions are our lower selves, okay. Now, what we're going to get into now is ascension energies, okay. Now, what I've been doing a lot with people at the moment is connecting them to the Ascension Gateway. It's a bit like that yellow brick road that's directing you in the right way for you to ascend. And when we break down what ascension is, it's to personally grow and evolve and ascend, right? Okay? To learn more wisdom. We're here to experience and learn more wisdom, okay? Therefore, creating our reality. So, when we connect people to the Ascension Gateway, we activate it. It enables us to temporarily disconnect ourselves from our lower selves for a transition period. And why we do that is because those lower selves are obviously our past lives, deemed past lives, our past ascensions, which have an entanglement connection to where we are now. Now, many things of why things happen in this lifetime is due to things that we've carried from past lives or carried from an entanglement connection to another ascension, which is limiting our ability to make this ascension successful. So we need to disconnect that and hence focus on the now, okay? and where we need to go next. Okay? So when we connect this ascension gateway, it enables a lot of the fear energy or the things that are thrown at you to be ascended, okay? And that's why I make all these lovely products here. You know, you'll notice I've got a bracelet I wear. I've got a pendant on underneath here with cubit meshes. These cubit measures anchor in a frequency or light in that enables us to ascend, okay? Aspects of our energy field to ascend, okay? Which then manifests and bleeds into the physical body as a manifestation. Now, these are wonderful in ascending you, and they are the best protection against low vibrational energies and entities and stuff like that, because those low vibrational entities don't want to come anywhere near you, because when they come within your field, they ascend as well. And if that consciousness that are feeding off low vibrational energy and suffering, the last thing they want to do is ascend into these higher vibrational fields. Okay? So our focus doesn't become protecting ourselves and survival. It's about ascending and moving on. Okay? Ascending into a high vibrational state that these low vibrational entities and energies no longer want to be part of, because they just